So we are going to talk about reactivity series of metals in this class today. You have already studied about what reactivity series of metals is. So I've mentioned about reactivity series. The definition is written over here. Reactivity series, you can see, is also known as activity series, and it is a series of elements, mostly metals, except hydrogen all are metals, and they are arranged in the form of decreasing chemical reactivity. Now this series is designed on the basis of several experimental observations that scientists have made. So in this the metals are arranged, as you can see over here, they are arranged in terms of their decreasing chemical reactivity or from highest to lowest. So when we see the metals, when we see these elements over here, you can see that the table begins with potassium. So potassium is the first element which is mentioned over here, followed by sodium, lithium, barium, strontium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, manganese, zinc, chromium, iron, and so on. So you can see that these elements are highlighted with different colors. So the first, you can see from beginning from potassium to calcium, you can see that it's highlighted over here with the red color, and these elements can react with cold water. The reaction of potassium with cold water is very vigorous, and that is why potassium and sodium, you know that they are stored in kerosene. The reason is that they react with cold water vigorously and evolve hydrogen gas, and the reaction is so exothermic that hydrogen, being a highly inflammable gas, catches fire. And because of this, as soon as potassium and sodium they come in contact with air which contains moisture, they start burning because of the exothermic reaction and the vigor of the reaction. So because of these reasons, you can see that potassium and sodium have been given the top slot in the activity series. And as we are moving down, the reactivity not only with water but also with dilute acids, and the vigor of the reaction is decreasing. So in this, when we consider this top slot elements, which we call them as most reactive, when we move from potassium to calcium, even calcium will react with cold water. Even calcium reacts with cold water, but the vigor of the reaction is very less. So if the vigor of the reaction means the speed with which the reaction is taking place. Since the speed of the reaction is less, calcium, though it reacts with cold water and hydrogen gas is evolved, but it does not catch fire. So calcium has been placed at the bottom of this most reactive metals. Then we have magnesium. So when you see this magnesium and all, so let us see the next slot now, which begins with magnesium. The next slot now begins with magnesium. Now magnesium does not react with cold water. Now this part is mentioned in blue, it's mentioned in yellow. You can see that over here. This part is turning yellow. Now yellow color in this diagram, in this file, it is representing that the elements which are mentioned in yellow are less reactive than the top elements, top metals. So magnesium, it does not react with cold water. Calcium reacts with cold water with slow speed, but magnesium does not react fairly with cold water. Aluminium also will not do it. Similarly, when we move to the bottom of it, zinc also does not react with cold water, and then lead does not show reaction with cold water under normal conditions. So as we are moving down in this part of the series, we can see that even reaction with water is changing from cold water to hot boiling water to steam. So when you will discuss about reactivity with water, this part will become more clear. Again, I tell you that magnesium reacts with boiling water. Aluminium even does not react with boiling water, it reacts with steam. Zinc reacts with steam. And then when you come to iron you can see is below zinc. So iron reacts with steam only when it is red hot. It will not react when iron is cold. Iron will only react with steam when it is red hot. So you can see that as we are moving down, the reaction conditions are becoming tougher. at the top of the reactivity series, it was cold water. As we gradually moved down, the temperature of the water was increasing from cold to boiling water, and further when we moved down from magnesium to aluminium and zinc, we saw that these metals only reacted with steam. So there is a difference between boiling water and steam. Steam is the water vapor which is formed at 100 degrees Celsius. So steam can have a temperature more than 100 degrees Celsius also when it is under pressure, but water vapor at boiling water will only, it cannot be more than 100 degrees Celsius. Boiling water temperature cannot increase much more than 100 degrees Celsius, though the presence of impurities and all also changes the boiling point. But still, when we talk over here, when we say that iron or zinc, they react only with steam, it shows clearly that the reaction conditions are becoming tougher as we are moving, we are scrolling down the series, and that is why we say that these elements are arranged according to their decreasing chemical reactivity. So now you see, you come to the bottom of it. Lead, I said, tell you, lead is just above hydrogen. So lead does not react with water at all under normal conditions. So after lead we have got hydrogen. You can see over here that we have hydrogen, and this hydrogen, now you come to hydrogen part. So hydrogen is the only non-metal which is included over here. Hydrogen is the only non-metal which is included here. And what is the purpose of including hydrogen in this activity series is that for comparison. You have already studied in class 8 that the metals above hydrogen can displace hydrogen gas from the dilute acid. So it's included just to show the comparison that metals above hydrogen can react with dilute acids and can displace hydrogen gas from it, but metals below hydrogen do not show such type of chemical reactivity. So you can see the elements which are below hydrogen, and as we are moving down, the common ones you already know is copper. You have copper, mercury, you have copper here, and then you have mercury. So you know that mercury is also a metal which is unreactive, and the bottom of it is occupied by silver, gold and platinum. So as we are moving down, you can see that the reactivity is decreasing further, and silver is less reactive, gold is even lesser reactive, and platinum you can say is the most unreactive metal. And because of these reasons, gold, silver, platinum are used to make jewelry because they have shine, and other reason is that they are ductile. But the most important reason according to the reactivity series is that they are unreactive. You have not seen corrosion of gold, you must have not seen corrosion of platinum. These elements, they do not corrode. Why they do not corrode? Because they are unreactive. But even silver, though it is less reactive, but still undergoes corrosion. You know that when silver items are kept in open, slowly with passage of time they turn black in color. The reason is that silver reacts with hydrogen sulfide gas which is present as a pollutant in atmosphere and gets converted into silver sulfide. So silver sulfide is black in color. So silver undergoes corrosion, but corrosion of gold is not observed, corrosion of platinum is not observed. Why they are not getting corroded? Because they are still lesser reactive than silver and other elements. Copper undergoes corrosion, but you have not seen corrosion of gold and platinum. So these observations, they show that, they indicate that the elements which are at the bottom of the reactivity series are less reactive elements. Now we are going to see certain salient features of the reactivity series, though I have already explained some of them, but still we will see now point wise certain salient features of the activity series. So you can see that for what purposes we can use the reactivity series. It's mentioned over here, it is used to summarize. used to summarize information about the reactions of metals with acids. It's already highlighted over here. Water, as I told you, for water, as I already told you that for water, and single displacement reaction. Single displacement reaction in terms of reaction with dilute acids or reaction of high reactive metals with salt of low reactive metals. So that also you have studied about. So single displacement reactions here are of two types. One is hydrogen displacement reaction and the other is metal displacement reaction, and both of them we will discuss over here. So, and then where are they used? They are used for extraction of metal from their ore. Though this part has been deleted from your syllabus for this year, this academic session, but how are they useful in extraction of metals? So metals which are present on the top slot of the activity series like potassium and sodium, when we will discuss about their chemical behavior, you will come to know that why do they have a different set of principles for their extraction from their ore. So we are going to see that one by one. So see this point, going from the bottom to the top of the table, the metals have the following properties. Now this you must understand it very well. The first one is very clear. The first point is very clear. So it's So first point says that increase in reactivity. Don't get confused. See the heading which is given, going from bottom to the top. Till now we were discussing moving from top to bottom. Now we are discussing from bottom to top. We are moving upwards now. When we are discussing, we were discussing downwards. Now we are discussing upward movement. So reactivity increases. When we are moving from bottom to top, the chemical reactivity of metals increases. This point is clear. Does not require much of explanation. Now, but the second one requires an explanation. See here. These metals lose electrons more readily to form positive ions. This point is important over here and you must understand it. They lose electrons more readily. That means as we are moving from platinum to potassium, the tendency of metal to lose electron increases. पोटेशियम कैन रेडिली लूज इलेक्ट्रॉन. पोटेशियम बहुत आसानी से इलेक्ट्रॉन को लूज कर सकता है, लेकिन बॉटम के जो एलिमेंट्स है, प्लैटिनम हुआ, थोड़ा ऊपर गए, कॉपर आया, उससे भी ऊपर गए, आयरन आया. तो जैसे जैसे हम प्लैटिनम से कॉपर, कॉपर से आयरन को मूव कर रहे हैं, तो इलेक्ट्रॉन को लूज करने की टेंडेंसी जो है वो इंक्रीज करती जा रही है. यही ये पॉइंट बोल रहा है. एंड यू नो दैट what makes metals reactive या मेटालिक कैरेक्टर क्या है. अब जब पीरियोडिक टेबल पढ़ोगे, अभी नेक्स्ट चैप्टर में आपको पीरियोडिक टेबल पढ़ना है, 5th चैप्टर में, उसमें आप पढ़ोगे कि मेटालिक कैरेक्टर क्या है. मेटालिक कैरेक्टर का मतलब होता है टेंडेंसी टू लूज इलेक्ट्रॉन. जो मेटल जितनी आसानी से इलेक्ट्रॉन को लूज कर सकता है वो उतना ही रिएक्टिव मेटल कहलाएगा. तो जब हम नीचे से ऊपर की तरफ मूव कर रहे हैं एक्टिविटी सीरीज में, तो ये टेंडेंसी जो है वो इंक्रीज कर रही है, और इसी टेंडेंसी की वजह से पोटेशियम जो है वो बहुत ही रिएक्टिव मेटल है, क्योंकि वो बहुत आसानी से इलेक्ट्रॉन को लूज करके एक पॉजिटिव आयन K+ बन सकता है. अब यहाँ पे देखिए नेक्स्ट पॉइंट जो है, थर्ड पॉइंट सेज दैट दे कोरोड और टार्निश मोर रेडिली. यही पॉइंट हम लोगों ने अभी कोरोजन के टर्म्स में डिस्कस किया था. मैंने बोला प्लैटिनम गोल्ड का कोरोजन नहीं होता है. जब हम ऊपर बढ़ते हैं तो आया कॉपर. कॉपर कोरोजन करता, कोरोजन होता है कॉपर में, और वो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड और मॉइस्चर के साथ रिएक्ट करके बेसिक कॉपर कार्बोनेट बनाता है, जिसकी ग्रीन कोटिंग होती है. आपने फर्स्ट चैप्टर में पढ़ा है. हम थोड़ा और ऊपर मूव करते हैं, आयरन आ गया. आयरन वेरी रेडिली कोरोड्स एंड फॉर्म्स ब्राउन कलर रस्ट. आयरन ऑक्साइड फॉर्म करता है ऑक्सीजन और मॉइस्चर के प्रेजेंस में रिएक्ट करके. और थोड़ा ऊपर बढ़िए, आपने देखा होगा जब रेगुलर स्कूल होगा, एंड व्हेन आई विल टेक यू टू द लैब, यू विल सी दैट इवन मैग्नीशियम कोरोड्स. मैग्नीशियम comes in the form of ribbon, and when it is packed in polythene tightly, it remains shiny as original. But when you remove the outer covering and you leave it in open for some days in air, then you can see that some white color powder appears on the surface of the magnesium ribbon, and this white color powder is formed due to corrosion of magnesium. It reacts with oxygen to form magnesium oxide. So you can see that as we are moving from bottom to the top metals, the tendency to show corrosion and getting tarnished becomes more easy for them. And why it becomes more easy? Because of their increased chemical reactivity. Increased chemical reactivity का मतलब more tendency to lose electrons. And what is the tendency to lose electron का? It's oxidized. That means it is oxidized readily. Now we will see the next point. It requires more energy and different methods to be isolated from their compounds. That means we are talking about extraction of metals. You know that potassium and sodium cannot be extracted from their salt in any way except by electrolysis. उन salts का, जैसे अगर हमें सोडियम को निकालना है तो हम NaCl की इलेक्ट्रोलाइसिस करके ही सोडियम को निकाल सकते हैं. हम NaCl का सॉल्यूशन भी हम नहीं ले सकते. जैसे कि आपने NaOH के केस में देखा था, इन क्लोर एल्कली प्रोसेस ब्राइन वाज यूज्ड फॉर प्रिपरेशन ऑफ सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड. लेकिन हम ब्राइन को यूज़ करके सोडियम मेटल का एक्सट्रैक्शन नहीं कर सकते हैं. उसमें रीज़न क्या है? टेंडेंसी टू लूज इलेक्ट्रॉन. जो जितनी आसानी से इलेक्ट्रॉन को लूज़ कर सकता है वो एलिमेंट उतनी ही मुश्किल से इलेक्ट्रॉन को लेगा. यानी अगर उसके अंदर ऑक्सीडाइज होने की टेंडेंसी ज़्यादा है तो उसके अंदर रिड्यूस होने की टेंडेंसी उतनी ही कम होगी. किसको? क्योंकि अगर किसी को देने की आदत है तो वो ले नहीं सकता. दानी जो है वो लेना नहीं चाहेगा. तो यहाँ पे ये एलिमेंट्स क्या है? ये दानी एलिमेंट्स है. कैसे दानी है? क्योंकि बहुत आसानी से अपने इलेक्ट्रॉन का दान कर देते हैं. अगर आप ऐसे समझो इसको, बहुत आसानी से इलेक्ट्रॉन का दान करते हैं. तो जो इलेक्ट्रॉन का दान करने की जिसको टेंडेंसी होगी वो इलेक्ट्रॉन लेना नहीं चाहेगा. तो पोटेशियम को बहुत मुश्किल से पोटेशियम इलेक्ट्रॉन एक्सेप्ट कर सकता है, और सिमिलरली सोडियम मुश्किल से इलेक्ट्रॉन एक्सेप्ट कर सकता है. लेकिन जब हम कंपैरिजन करें तो पोटेशियम के कंपैरिजन में सोडियम इलेक्ट्रॉन ले लेगा आसानी से. सो इट्स अबाउट कंपैरिजन. हम जैसे जैसे नीचे आते जाएंगे. अब कैल्शियम की बात करो. कैल्शियम सोडियम से भी नीचे है. तो अगर हम सोडियम से कैल्शियम को कंपेयर करें तो कंपेरेटिवली कैल्शियम आसानी से इलेक्ट्रॉन लेगा इन कंपैरिजन टू सोडियम. तो यही यहाँ पे जो है सबसे बड़ा रोल जो है वो लॉस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन का ही है यहाँ पे. नाउ सी द लास्ट पॉइंट. This is the last point that we are going to discuss. They become stronger reducing agent. What is reducing agent? Reducing agents are one जो reduction cause करे. What is reduction? Gain of electron is reduction. ये मैंने आपको फर्स्ट चैप्टर में oxidation reduction I had taught you in terms of electron. Gain of electron is reduction. Loss of electron is oxidation. So metals are strong reducing agent. Why they are strong reducing agent? Because they can readily lose electron. तो जब तक कोई इलेक्ट्रॉन देने वाला नहीं होगा, इलेक्ट्रॉन का एडिशन नहीं होगा. Because for adding electron you need an electron, and there should be an substance, there should be an agent that will supply electron, and these metals they supply their electron by losing electron. So they are strong reducing agent. And as we are moving from bottom to top, just see this again, I'll just show you that as we are moving from bottom to top, as we are moving in this direction, tendency to lose electron is increasing. That means they are becoming stronger reducing agents. So the top elements will be strong reducing agent and the bottom elements will be weaker reducing agents in comparison. Okay, so I hope this part is clear to you. Now we are going to discuss the reaction with water of these elements. Now how reaction with water will differentiate them into a more reactive metal and a less reactive metal. See the first point over here. The first point says that potassium to calcium, I had already told you but still I am repeating, potassium to calcium, they react with cold water to form metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. So from potassium to calcium, the main product with cold water will be metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. See, one reaction I have written it here for potassium. So it is forming potassium hydroxide along with evolution of hydrogen gas, and the reaction is exothermic. That means heat is evolved. But as we are moving from potassium to calcium, the vigor of the reaction is decreasing, and the reaction with calcium is not exothermic, and it's not so exothermic that hydrogen produced will catch fire. So when calcium reacts with water, it does not catch fire. So calcium can be stored outside, but potassium and sodium cannot be stored outside in open. They should be stored only in an inert atmosphere. Inert का मतलब unreactive atmosphere, ऐसा atmosphere जो उसके साथ unreactive है, तो उसको केरोसिन में स्टोर किया जाता है. Now see the next point. But the reaction becomes less vigorous as we move down. जैसे जैसे हम नीचे जा रहे हैं, रिएक्शन की स्पीड जो है वो डिक्रीज हो रही है. तो रिएक्शन की स्पीड डिक्रीज होने से एक तो हीट प्रोड्यूस कम होता जा रहा है, और दूसरा हाइड्रोजन जिस रेट से फॉर्म कर रहा है वो भी कम होता जा रहा है. तो पोटेशियम के साथ बहुत तेजी से हाइड्रोजन निकलना शुरू होता है, लेकिन कैल्शियम के साथ हाइड्रोजन का फॉर्मेशन जो है वो धीमी गति से होगा. सो इन चेंजेस की वजह से कैल्शियम जो है वो ओपन एयर में it does not catch fire. Now we see the third point. अभी third point में अब आप देखोगे, this is the third point. Third point, magnesium reacts with boiling water. As I told you, magnesium boiling water form करता है to form hydroxide. ये भी hydroxide ही form कर रहा है और हाइड्रोजन गैस ही निकल रहा है. लेकिन अब चेंज क्या आ गया? It does not react with cold water. It will react with boiling water. So it will not show cold water reaction, it will only show boiling water reaction. Now we come to the fourth point regarding zinc. अब ये point में देखिए, zinc and aluminium, ये जो दो metals हैं, zinc and aluminium react with steam to form metal oxide. ये देखो यहाँ पे hydroxide नहीं बना, अब ये metal oxide बना रहा है. ऊपर के चार element जो हैं वो, ऊपर के चार मतलब आप पोटेशियम से लेकर मैग्नीशियम तक, सो ऊपर के चार एलिमेंट हाइड्रोक्साइड और हाइड्रोजन गैस बनाए, और जिंक एल्यूमिनियम से शुरुआत हो गई है मेटल ऑक्साइड फॉर्मेशन की, और वो भी किसके साथ? स्टीम के साथ. सो ये देखिए यहाँ पे एल्यूमिनियम का रिएक्शन मैंने लिखा है, एल्यूमिनियम ऑक्साइड इज फॉर्म अलोंग विथ इवोल्यूशन ऑफ हाइड्रोजन गैस. यहाँ पे हाइड्रोजन गैस का जो है वो इवोल्यूशन हो गया है. नाउ सी द फिफ्थ पॉइंट. फिफ्थ पॉइंट क्या बोल रहा है कि आयरन रिएक्ट्स विथ स्टीम ओनली व्हेन इट इज रेड हॉट. जब तक कि हम आयरन को हीट ना करें तब तक आयरन स्टीम के साथ रिएक्ट नहीं करेगा, और फिर भी क्या बनाएगा? वो बनाएगा आयरन ऑक्साइड ही बनाएगा. सो आयरन इज रिएक्टिंग विथ स्टीम ओनली व्हेन इट इज रेड हॉट. एंड ये देखिए Fe3O4, ये Fe3O4 एक्चुअली इसको हम Fe3O4 इज अ मिक्सचर ऑफ FeO. आपने या तो पढ़ा है कि आयरन की वैलेंसी +2 होती है, या फिर आयरन की वैलेंसी जो है वो +2 और +3 दो ही वैलेंसी शो करता है, लेकिन आप Fe3O4 में आप इसको एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पाओगे कि इसकी क्या वैलेंसी है. तो Fe3O4 इट इज़ अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ FeO यानी फेरस ऑक्साइड और फेरिक ऑक्साइड का ये कॉम्बिनेशन होता है, और इसीलिए इसको Fe3O4 बोलते हैं. सो इट्स कॉल्ड Fe2O3. ये दो ऑक्साइड आपको ऑलरेडी पता है कि आयरन के दो ऑक्साइड होते हैं. सो एक में दिस इज अ कॉम्बिनेशन, ये कॉम्बिनेशन होता है, एंड इसकी वजह से इसको हम बोलते हैं, इसका नाम होता है फेरोफेरिक ऑक्साइड, Fe3O4 इसको बोलते हैं. सो बोथ फॉर्म्स कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ बोथ द ऑक्साइड्स. नाउ वी सी द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, द सिक्स्थ वन. सिक्स्थ वन सेज दैट द surface of metallic oxide is protected by thin layer of lead oxide, PbO. So it does not react with water under normal conditions. ये भी मैंने आपको बताया था कि lead जो है वो normal condition में water से react नहीं करता. What is the reason? Reason is that जो lead metal होता है उसका surface जो है वो lead oxide से covered होता है. So lead oxide makes it passive towards normal water, and that is why it does not react. Now we come to the seventh point. Metals below hydrogen do not react with water. ये भी आपको पता है कि नीचे के जो metals होते हैं हाइड्रोजन के नीचे, चाहे वो कॉपर हो, मर्क्यूरी हो, गोल्ड हो, प्लैटिनम हो, सिल्वर हो, they do not react with water. So these are the reaction with water. ये हो गया. इसके अलावा आपको पता है कि सिंगल डिस्प्लेसमेंट रिएक्शन आप पढ़ चुके हो फर्स्ट चैप्टर में. आपने डिस्प्लेसमेंट ऑफ हाइड्रोजन गैस फ्रॉम डाइल्यूट एसिड भी पढ़ा हुआ है. मेटल्स विच आर अबव हाइड्रोजन कैन रिएक्ट विद डाइल्यूट एसिड टू फॉर्म सॉल्ट एंड हाइड्रोजन गैस. लेकिन जो मेटल्स नीचे होते हैं हाइड्रोजन से वो ये रिएक्शन शो नहीं कर सकते, डाइल्यूट एसिड के साथ वो रिएक्शन नहीं करेंगे. इसके अलावा सिंगल डिस्प्लेसमेंट रिएक्शन जो होता है, अ मोर रिएक्टिव मेटल डिस्प्लेसेस अ लेस रिएक्टिव मेटल फ्रॉम इट्स एक्वस सॉल्ट सोल्यूशन. यानी ऊपर के जो मेटल हैं अपने से नीचे के मेटल्स को उसके एक्वस सॉल्ट सोल्यूशन से डिस्प्लेस कर सकते हैं. यू नो दैट अगर आपने कॉपर सल्फेट का सोल्यूशन लिया है उसमें आप आयरन नेल डालो, कुछ घंटों के बाद ब्लू कलर जो है वो पेल ग्रीन में बदल जाएगा. क्यों बदल जाएगा? क्योंकि आयरन ने कॉपर को कॉपर सल्फेट से डिस्प्लेस कर दिया और वो आयरन सल्फेट बना देगा. सिमिलरली अगर आपने आयरन सल्फेट लिया हुआ है उसमें जिंक का पीस डाल दीजिए तो वो भी जो है वो डिस्प्लेसमेंट रिएक्शन शो करेगा, क्योंकि अब जिंक जो है आयरन को उसके सल्फेट से डिस्प्लेस करके जिंक सल्फेट बना देगा. सो दीज आर द रिएक्शंस which can be explained very well in terms of activity series. That's all for today. If you have any question, you can ask me now, children.